Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is another edition of New York by Night. We are within the demon venue as the demons of the Lesser Key of Solomon, or some of the demons of the Lesser Key of Solomon, gather within the church, which is still owned by the Rev, so to speak. And the sergeant had met a an elderly man by the name of Harris Hoyt, who told him he was a veteran and who they both found out was in connection with more than just the regular world. And so after a few minutes of talking, we decided together that it was time for him to meet the tyrant of New York, Miss Lily Tsukiko. And the Rev gave her a call that he is very much willing to introduce the new Halaku of within the church of the Lesser Key of Solomon, or as it used to be, the Open-Eyed Church.
And well, actually, Lily will arrive on time. That's why I rolled a few fate dice, and she'll simply proceed to walk in. She had to take a bus, and she still has her backpack from school on her back. Looks pretty heavy, and also around her wrists she wears something. People might look at it and see a rather futuristic bracelet, but it is in fact a tracking device. She's turned on because she is still serving out her punishment. She'll just simply, without knocking and without the hesitation that she had almost a year ago, she will simply step into the church, looking around. Rev?
The Reverend will be stepping out of a dark corner. Then simply jump down one level and we'll jump next to you.
You called me here. What is it?
I have encountered a new man, an elderly man by the name of Harris Hoyt. He seems to be in touch with the same realm. They have the same connection as Daniel and Vincenzo.
I see. Well, that's nice. New. We can always use more of their kind, I guess. I'm sure Josh would be happy if he was here. He's always complaining about him being the only one around here, having such a busy job.
Well, I think we have a new man.
Well, actually, I've sent out word for some of the others to join us as well. There's still some news I have to speak to most of them about.
They are very welcome. If you would follow. Sorry,
Speaking
go
of
ahead.
others, the discussion is interrupted with Vincenzo opening the side door and walking in with a briefcase, well, an old leather briefcase and a sensible suit, looking around, going, "Hello? Anybody here?"
You can instantly see the large black man standing next to the Japanese girl, and we recognize you instantly. It says, "Over here."
Oh.
And after Vincenzo, Yukio will enter with a expression of what are we doing at church, and he's carrying a smallish rectangular wooden box and looking for Lily, especially because he doesn't know nobody else.
And Lily will kind of raise her hand,
And he will go and stand behind Lily and look at the other ones.
The Rev will look. Well, if you stand behind Willy, I will either, if you're as small as her, I will look down upon you.
I'm a little bit taller than her.
Yes, well, I'm a shitload taller than the most of you.
Probably.
So, I will look at you and say, who the hell are you?
And who the hell are you?
Gentlemen, we have more introductions to make, but please, Rev, before we actually get into making introductions, bring forth the new guy.
Yeah, walk with me. He's down where I used to live.
Interesting.
Thomas will walk down past the pulpit, down to a hallway which some of you went. He walks down past a door, and beyond that door is the living space the Rev used to live. Or does he still live there? It's unclear because everything is still clean. Like this place is still used and is regularly cleaned. There's not much dust. And on the couch is Harris Hoyt enjoying a cup of coffee or an alcoholic beverage, whatever he prefers.
Well, if you had beer or whiskey, I would choose that over coffee.
Oh yes, there's definitely whiskey there. Oh God.
Don't worry.
Then yeah, he's probably using a coffee mug to drink it in, but he's definitely.
You can have a whiskey glass, but there's a rather expensive coffee maker there as well because the Rev did love his coffee. But you're all let into that reasonably small apartment. It's all modern. It's all modern decoration. There's a large bookcase on one of the side, a reasonably small kitchen, small TV, two doors, one to the pantry and one to what seems to be, because it's slightly open, a bedroom, a sleeping bedroom, so to speak.
Harris will stand up as you guys enter the room with a little bit more grace than you would expect, given his excessive age, and he'll look at the group of you, and not really knowing who's who, he'll still do a fairly crisp salute to the group.
Mr. Harris Hoyt, let me introduce you to the Tyrant of New York. And he steps to the side in order to sort of reveal Lily.
What's Lily? She raises like her eyebrows a little. It's like, it has to be this official. Well, I guess. And she steps forwards and holds out her hand. Like, hey, I'm Lily.
He moves from the salute to take your hand in a firm grip and is... I'm Harris Hoyt. The Rev seems to call me Sarge, though. Good to meet you, young lady.
Another, now she's this, young lady. Very well. So, new guy, huh?
Yeah, apparently. I was released just as the rest of you.
How long ago?
I'm not entirely sure. I've been aware of the fact for a couple weeks, but not sure if I was just kind of in a daze for the first little bit or not.
I see. Something happened to you at some point. Either you were maybe hunted or you felt ready to commit suicide, actually made the attempt. Anything like that?
Yeah, I think Harris had pretty much given up and was trying to drown his sorrows, and that's where I swam up to the surface.
Hmm. Well, I guess it's good to have you here then. Welcome to the Lesser Key of Solomon. As far as we are court, a small one. Also, let me introduce you to the people that you do not yet know. This is Vincenzo Cognetti.
Good to have a few more wrinkly faces in the crowd. Makes me feel less old.
Yeah, I can imagine these kids give you a lot of hassle.
You wouldn't believe.
You'll get that shit face grin from me.
And Lily is just looking stoic, not even giving a smile or anything at that. To move on. And Yukio Okumura so recently came to join us here in
Another
Europe.
movie.
And he will bow. If you need something fixed or something made better, you come to me.
Good. I heard you Charlies were pretty good at fixing stuff, so.
First, and he cracks his neck, I'm not Chinese. Second, I will whoop your ass if you call me Chinese again.
Oh, so tense.
Are you sure you look Chinese?
And you see that Yukio opens a little bit the upper side of his box, and there is a new katana blade there. And he closes it. You're lucky. This is work I need to give.
The moment you open that bag and mention that katana, you can hear his shotgun getting loaded.
And he turns around, look at the shotgun. Really? A shotgun?
No. This is just to let you see. I want to know what you can do with this gun.
And he takes a second look. I can make it better, faster, stronger.
Great, but this is an easy one, right?
Overall.
Okay, what can you do with this? And he walks over to what seems to be a kitchen wall. But he presses some sort of button, and a part of the kitchen wall swivels around. And there you can see a very large rifle, Barrett .50. Loud as fuck, strong as fuck, 1.5 mile range.
And you see the Japanese guy smile. I can make it stronger, more accurate, silencer. Well, I can make it more quieter, actually. I can do amazing things with it. How much time do I have?
Well, if you can really improve her.
Give me 3 days.
3 days. I'll give you 3 weeks. But it must be tipped off. However, I've never ever heard anyone being able to silence a Barrett .50 because of the barrel that still clanks back after the heavy recoil, because it's a loose barrel. And I take it off the wall and I simply slide out the barrel, which is not attached. It's actually laying inside it. I just have to twist it a little bit to take out the barrel. And they can't silence this puppy. I've never seen it done.
You have never seen someone like me.
I have. I was a very good friend. He made me this, and I slide over a part of my armor, my normal armor, and there you can see a rather thin armor actually, but you can clearly see that it has your kind of mark, your kinds of mark all over it.
Oh, so and he uh, aims to Lily's breast, so to speak, and pats her, something like hers.
And the Rev will look up and actually inspect what he sees without touching Lily. Just he's intrigued.
You see a simple T-shirt.
Yes, but you see
Underneath it, there might be something, but all you see now is a T-shirt.
yes, with me you will see some sort of chainmail vest, as I rather took a vest than anything else. The T-shirt was a little bit too light. The Rev usually had a vest under his shirt,
Really,
so you have a vest.
you misunderstand. The armor
Sorry?
isn't a shirt. The armor isn't a shirt. The armor is underneath the shirt. So
All
you're
right.
gonna inspect
Okay.
my armor, you need to take off my shirt.
Oh no, I won't take off the shirt of the tyrant. I'm not suicidal.
Thank you. Well, anyway, talking about all those weapons and everything, that's all fantastic. It's not what we're here for. Lily will turn her gaze over at the newcomer, New Halaku. So, what do you know already about this place? What do you know about New York? Does the ref tell?
Well, aside from the Rev, I've encountered a miracle worker, but he didn't seem very focused in wanting to use his miracles for productive means, but he seems to have changed slightly his attitude since the riots. I know a little bit of the riots because I took a peek at some of the victims at the hospital that I volunteer at, and yeah, it's there's definitely more tormented creations out there.
Mm-hmm.
The Rev walks towards his sleeping quarters and seems to disappear for a few moments.
So, you're not yet aware of the leeches, the doggies, and everything else, I take it.
I saw eyewitness accounts of what appeared to be a furry beast of fangs and a human with a maw of teeth feasting on the flesh. But as far as what each of them are, no, I'm not familiar.
Okay. Well, let me just give you the quick tour of New York. We're here in the Bronx. Well, that might be very obvious. You know what we are, so no need to really introduce anything there.
Yeah, I was told the Bronx was the only place that we were really supposed to congregate, so I've been trying to find an apartment in the area for myself to move to.
Well, you can do that, but we are not. There have been others from our court that do not inhabit the Bronx, so if you
Oh, okay.
don't feel like moving, that's fine. Just know that the Bronx is our place. This is our territory. This is what we defend. Manhattan, you'll find two things. First of all, Manhattan itself, the island, leech territory. Vampires. Bastards of Cain, whatever you may. They're an okay bunch. We're at least okay as in we do not fight them.
As per orders of the tyrant so far.
Yeah, so far. We have a understanding with them. Any one of them entering the Bronx without permission, they will be kicked out. Not necessarily have to keep them alive, but yeah. They feed on our grounds, they're gone. There's been an agreement that's been standing for, well, almost as long as I can remember. I've been around here for a year now. And so far, we've had little difficulties with them. They know that they are not allowed in here.
Well, they
Okay.
did need a little clarification about the islands. But
That is true, yes. Other things in Manhattan, Central Park. Werewolves, doggies. We have at this moment an agreement as well. We do not enter Central Park. They do not enter the Bronx unless either side gives explicit permission and accompanies the other one. Enter Central Park. If they find you, the demons will do nothing to defend you, and they get to do whatever the fuck they want. Same goes the other way around. They enter the Bronx, we can do whatever the fuck we want, and they will not intervene. However, must say that I still have to talk to the new Alpha, because apparently they get killed like flies. You would expect something better from them, but still. And apparently with every new or Alpha of their group, they tend to change the rules again, so we'll have to see about that again in a few. And finally, in and around Manhattan, you'll have mages and changelings, fairies. Not particularly fond of them, especially not at the moment. They fucked over one of ours. But they're dangerous, and we do not need an all-out war with them. So, for now,
The Reverend re-enters the living room.
for now we're cautious around them.
All right. So vampires are real. So that would explain the people with fang mouths. Werewolves are real. So that would explain the hairy guy. And then you said mages. Is that like wizards?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if
That's-
you really want to.
That's probably the miracle worker that I encountered already.
Do you have a name?
And yeah, John Smith.
Yes.
Right.
I met
And
I
And
wonder
then-
how many John Smiths the
No.
bookkeeper has.
That's John
Yeah.
Doe.
and not many John Smiths, quite a few John Does.
Well, I know. I mean, who hasn't signed their name on a hotel registry under John Smith? But
And anyone who actually wants to avoid drawing attention and give a proper false name.
and then what part of the city did you say the queers ran?
The what?
You said there was a bunch of fairies that were causing trouble.
Queers?
They're kind of all over the place. They don't stick to a particular part of New York.
Well, let me point this one out. Not fairies, as in the bunch who have, those little marches around the streets. Fairies, as in stuff from mythology.
Oh, okay,
though-
like Peter Pan.
Something along those lines, yeah.
More like the Hobbit, I think.
Not much of a difference between Peter Pan and the guys with the rainbow shirts, but all right. And then there's
Might not
us.
want to say that to their face. Yes, there's us, and more importantly, there's another court over in New Jersey.
There's another court. Okay.
Yes. Court that exists mainly out of Ravengers. It's not an all-out war, but we're not on speaking terms.
Well, why am I not surprised they live in New Jersey?
I guess. And there's another group of leeches on Staten Island, and they're kind of at war with the leeches on Manhattan, so... But that's mainly it. That's the Grand Tour de New York.
All right.
Well,
Good.
So you can, if I don't know where you're living right now.
Queens.
Oh, that's interesting. There's another member of
Yeah.
the court in Queens. She
Oh,
didn't want
okay.
to move, so
Well then, I'm going to stay where I am because it's a hell of a lot easier.
Queens? You mean south of the river for us, isn't it?
mm-hmm. Yes.
That would be where my cafe is.
So apparently we're taking over Queens already.
I haven't had any pushback on it, so.
Well,
Well, my tyrants, since we are already on Queens, they should know that we plan to move upon Wall Street.
you.
Why would you want Wall Street?
Money.
Don't you have enough money?
We as an individual beings, I don't know. As a court, I don't think so.
Why does the court need money?
Yeah, why would we need money?
Manipulation for the better indulgence of society.
We have Marcus for that kind of stupid stuff.
That sounds pretty empty.
Well, my Dana, it's pretty rash and violent from time to time, but he's smart. He will do a good job.
You've gone from building stars and planets to worrying about how many paper bills you've got in your wallet?
I didn't build the stars. I didn't aim that high. I built other things, useful things.
I consider the stars useful.
Congratulations.
Yes, they light up the sky. Anyway,
Exactly. Anyway, it's well, I have no objection if people want to try and take over Wall Street.
Where did you serve in the war, Lily? If I may ask.
Well, you may. I was part of the Crimson Army, Crimson Legion, more or less.
Okay. You seem you don't necessarily live up to the image that one would have using the title tyrant, so I was curious.
Well, that may be true. I was voted tyrant, and I never really, I guess I kind of lack the ambition to kick people around. People want to go about things their way. It's fine by me. If I really order something around, you'll know.
Which reminds me, points towards Yokio. Why don't we have a chat about that Manhattan project of yours later?
Yeah.
There is a field of roses that's happening in the Shadowlands. I mentioned it to the other young Halaku of the cult. It's surrounded by a barrier that was used in the war by both sides, if my memory is right.
A field of roses, you say?
One for every suicide in a certain area, I imagine.
And more importantly, a barrier that was used by both sides.
Oh, warded against things, such as us.
Intriguing.
Those roses, did they sprout from the souls of those people? Or the bodies? Or whatever you call the physical representation of those people in your world?
No, it's on the field. Very nicely lit field for the realm they're in.
Well, then it doesn't have anything to do with the with Haven's Light or Haven's Lantern, or whatever the fuck that thing is called.
And there's someone in the middle of all that field, surrounded by another barrier. who seems to be in a worse for wear situation.
Oh,
I did mention this to the Halago. He didn't bring it up with any one of you.
he did not.
I have the papers here for the names and the locations of what I found, so you're welcome.
Do you know whether it's reflected in this realm, this plane of existence?
I have not yet seen any true reflections of it, except for as I mentioned there, somebody went through the trouble of erecting a memorial sit, I guess. And I can't find anything about their name or parentage or anything. It's a downright mystery, I tell you.
Anything the court can do to assist you?
If there's anyone willing and interested in giving it a look, I myself am recuperating from my last visit there and a touch with the barriers.
Well, if I could look at that barrier, I could be of help. But one cannot enter the land of the dead.
I agree with my tiny little friend here. I
I'm not
want to
tiny.
look. I want to take a look. You're Japanese. You're tiny. I want to take a look, but I can't really enter there easily.
That shouldn't be a problem.
Then we should make it a date. I say when I grin at Yukio.
Yes. Let me get my sledgehammer, and then I'm ready to go.
Very well. I hope that I'll get updated a bit quicker this time. Who can now responsible for that?
Oh yes. According to update, I totally forgot. The item you wanted me to put on a safe place is placed in the safe place.
Thank you very much. Does it do anything at this point?
Oh yes, it lights up like a fairy tree.
Interesting.
I can't cross over, but I can scout and see if I can sense a reflection in this realm from that field.
Always a useful thing to have a few more eyes on the streets. Thank you.
Yeah.
What's
But
with Please.
I was going to say, apparently, this body, I can't quite get through the wall yet.
I know how it feels to find yourself suddenly restricted by things you never knew existed.
Yeah.
Well,
Do
still
we,
the question.
Do we have any scourges amongst us?
Afraid not. At this
Oh,
point.
I seem to have forgotten some of their tricks at healing mortals that I once knew.
Well, it might be an excellent time for you to start relearning those.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt a lot more helpless when I saw the results of the carnage from the weekend.
Yes,
No.
speaking about that carnage.
Back to cleaning up the mess instead of preventing it.
What's the carnage talk about? Was there something besides mortals involved?
Rev?
Oh yeah. Well, it seems to me like there were some supernaturals trying to screw around with other supernaturals, and in the process killed a lot of normies. So this happened in the area of Manhattan. So because there was a friend of ours there, you might know him, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt his his lifeline, so to speak, being in great distress. A lot of changes going on, a lot of variables. So I went to that location to check it out. And what I found there was really weird. I'll explain the people I met after later, but those were weird as well. But what I saw there was a great black dome full of I don't know what to call it. I say magical blackness, magical darkness, something like that. Because I couldn't see in or through it. So I waited while other people, including Aaron, were fighting other people. I think they were vampires because I shot one through the leg and that rag fell off and shriveled. And after it shriveled, a few, like 30 minutes later, 10 minutes later, it even dusted completely. It was gone.
Well, I had a chat with Aaron a day later, the day after.
Yes, he told me about some Jewish group called the Shabbat.
The Sabbath, yes.
I told you, Jewish vampires. You tell me no.
That is the group in Staten Island. They are not just Jewish. I don't know. Maybe they even, for fuck's sake, maybe they even are. I don't care. But Aaron is setting up a council.
Council?
Yes, they want to retaliate. Apparently, what he says is that those particular vampires weren't from around New York. They were from some different place. And they want to head in.
So all of the other supernatural here, they don't work for us. Like the good little things they are.
There will be, for as far as I know, there will be doggies, leeches, and mages.
And they all work for us, don't they? Just
No, they don't. They mainly work
really?
for themselves.
And how many humans are going to suffer from this retaliation attack?
That was exactly my point.
Now that's a very good question.
Because
I've already told them.
the eyewitness accounts that I saw from the victims, the werewolves were not, the vampires weren't the only ones that were killing people. So you can't tell me that if they retaliate, they're only going to attack vampires on Staten Island or wherever the hell they're going.
Who was the other group mainly who was killing humans?
Well, one of the humans that died was really up close to a werewolf, and I got the impression that that was what clawed them. Again, I'm going off of their interpretation as they were dying, but
Okay.
that's what they told me.
Okay.
Well, that's something to this. Would you mind putting that on paper for me, and I have something to throw around their ears with?
Yeah, for sure. I can scroll something down.
Thank you. Because I can take one other person with me to that meeting. Haven't yet decided on who that's gonna be, but
Old men talking, young men dying, that's how it usually goes.
I'm not planning to lend any assistance to them.
We're not going?
No. We're not. We have our own fish to fry.
You can read off some sort of disappointment. It quickly dissipates from his face and becomes a normal face, but you can see some part of like he was looking forward to killing vampires.
Well, haven't you heard? They are going to be outside, all of them.
If
We could
the
take a look around the city.
If the court from New Jersey came and attacked us in the Bronx, would they all gather up and help us attack New Jersey? Then why are we helping Manhattan deal with their own problems?
Because
It's
in
not just
Manhattan,
that.
humans died.
It's also if we
Humans are
pull
going to
away,
die in this retaliatory attack.
if we pull
Well,
away too much strength from the Bronx, that will leave us vulnerable to an attack. That will leave our charges vulnerable to an attack from New Jersey. No, we're not going into some strange territory to kill a bunch of leeches, only to get them back into New York, killing more humans again.
so you
Very simple.
suspect a retaliation attack or a counterattack or even a shadow attack at the same moment as they attack?
It might very
That's
well be.
that should be genius to attack when the Braves are out hunting.
Exactly.
Well,
Why
if
we are
someone attacks the city, as our tyrant here said, we are the last line of defense.
So what are we defending? Are we defending the Bronx or are we going to spread ourselves out over the entire city, which is going
I
to be
think
ludicrous?
I think we are defending New York.
That will depend. It will depend on what's going to happen in that council meeting. We can offer our assistance in protecting their territories while they go off on a hunt. However, I'm not looking
Only
to
if
have
we are
any
paid for it.
enemies. I do not expect, or I am not really willing to fight any enemies of those doggies, because they're dangerous enough as it is.
Right. So
So
we're gonna wait here and sit and wait till they attack or counterattack, whatever.
it's very simple. We'll stick to what we always have done. Anything enters the Bronx that shouldn't be here, feel free to violently kill it.
All right.
If they don't,
I like the part of violently killing it.
for now, it's not our problem. It's not our concern. Sure, I understand a lot of human lives got lost there. However, I think retaliation attacks, they will kill only more. They will start turning humans into leeches. You'll have 20 leeches in no time where there once were only 2, and so forth and so on. I do not look forward to that.
Right.
And we've been through enough wars, we know it's always the civilians that suffer, not the soldiers.
Well, I imagine the soldiers do some suffering of their own, if memory serves.
At this moment, you can see the Revenue raise an eyebrow towards Harris, as he doesn't agree with the fact that citizens suffer more than soldiers.
Though the generals
We
might be a
asked,
bit
we
easier.
asked for this. Our suffering is the result of our decisions. A 5-year-old
No.
child laying in the street missing an arm and a leg is not as the result of their decision.
No, our suffering is not because we choose it. Our suffering is because we choose to defend humanity.
Exactly.
We choose to stand for them.
We don't suffer because we choose to suffer. We suffer because suffering is put upon us, whether we like it or not.
Because of the choices we made.
No, it's not the choices we make. It's the choices we are forced to make. Anyways, let's not get into a discussion about peace or war, that kind of crap. It's
Well, you can get into
that
it, but
weird.
not on my dime.
I understand, Super. I understand, but at the moment, it's simple. Our commander has given us an order to stand, hold, and defend, and that's what we will do.
It is the smart thing to do if everyone else is gung-ho about attacking.
I understand.
Besides,
We will
there are
be
enough
the.
problems of our own. We have enough. I mean, there's still a pit in New Jersey that's sprouting God knows whatever. There are still portals opening up here and there, and there is still that God knows where it came from creature from apparently another universe. Which might very well be the end result or the beginning of the end result from a project from our fair glass worker.
Right. Fuck that fucking glass worker. I never trusted that fuck. Nobody should have ever trusted that fuck.
Sorry, who's the glass worker?
He was your predecessor.
Uh,
And then Yuki turns to Lily, and then I claim ownership of everything he has made.
You can't.
He turns. My house claims ownership for our works.
Are you taking the responsibility of them
Exactly.
as well?
Do you really
If he
want
has,
to
if he
claim
has
responsibility?
done, if he has done something, I will. Well, if he has done something evil, I will work to undo it.
Great.
Well, at this point, what we're looking for is apparently this individual had a plan to open a portal to God himself, to the host himself.
That's a stupid idea.
I do agree.
Let me guess, you got the wrong address?
That might very well have happened. I am not sure whether he actually managed to bring his plan into fruition just yet, or whether it's still going. It's difficult to get much information out of it, and the glassworker himself managed to get himself killed because he ran into some magma,
He's an idiot.
and he transferred himself into a piece of paper.
Sounds
And
like
you-
something to burn.
You see that Yukio's like, yes, it's a very normal thing to do.
Which
My house has the ability to jump into objects.
we call it being an earthbound, and we call it going mad.
At this moment, as you even mention the word earthbound, I will look at Yukio.
Yeah, and Yukio will. look
I won't say anything, but I will keep my eye on him from now on.
And he will go like, well, yes, that is a distinct possibility, but also no, as something simple as a piece of paper. If it's something that is enrooted to the earth, like a heat forge or a steam oven or even a fucking electric central, that's other thing. Yes, that's even dangerous to people. But a book or a piece of paper, hardly. A mirror. If he jumped inside a mirror, say goodbye to everything.
It's still an earthbound. It still means that he'll go crazy in no time. We've already had to deal with one of them, and I prefer not to deal with any one of them again in the near future.
Very well, my tyrant. I will abstain myself to jump inside any of my creations then.
I would prefer that, yes. Unless you can explain to me exactly what it does to you. I would like if you are really want to try something like that, please talk to me beforehand instead of trying to explain it when it's already happened.
Nah, I'm quite fine with this body. It's very useful. He has useful memories.
Very well. Well, that was a quick summary of all the things happening in New York at this point. Do you have any questions?
No, it doesn't sound like there's any standing orders, so
Oh,
I
right.
will-
Standing orders. We are not supposed to have, if we can avoid it, contact with Victoria. No, what was her face? What's her
Veronica.
face? That's the word. Veronica and Mr. Alex.
who's that?
Some mage asshole.
Hmm.
Okay.
It's not a standing order, it's more a precaution. They caused severe harm to one of our own, which ended up in having to kill him. And I prefer not to have to go through that again.
I'm terribly sorry. Did I hear that right?
Yes, you
Oh,
do.
yes, you did, sir.
One of our own was subject to severe harm. How severe?
Finally severe.
And where
Back
is
in the
our...
abyss, or they're dead?
He ended
Oh,
up
they're
probably back into the abyss.
back.
And where is
What
our,
is the name of the happy person I'm going to put in the Shadowlands while still alive?
That would be me.
Why did you kill him?
Because he attacked me.
And
How
why
are
he
the
didn't
mages
attack you?
related? How are the mages related to this then?
Because they drove him into this pact that he kind of made with a dark entity.
Although we've never seen the entity,
I have.
I don't trust it.
Well, apparently they claim it now to be dead.
Right.
So who drove him to that pact?
Right. Situation happened as followed. You, Vincenzo, you might know, might have known our resident. What was it again? Fifth house. Defiler. Lamisu. Went by the name of Artemio Allegretto. And
You may have met one.
marrying a changeling named Veronica.
Who the fuck would do that? Stupid fairy tales.
Apparently, the night before their wedding, a certain mage by the name of Alex Winterborn kissed this Veronica. Artemio was upset about this and ended up closing some kind of deal with a dark entity that he set on Alex attacking him. I heard this from Alex. I went down to try and talk Artemio out of this. Tried to make him see reason. He attacked me. We didn't really come to any kind of conversation, actually. With, other than, if you're not with me, you're against me. And unfortunately, the tranquilizer I brought with me didn't work. So I had to defend myself, and I ended up killing him, or killing his host. This dark entity was there. I fought it as well. Called him servant or master, and I tried to do something with my mind at some point, but I'm not exactly sure what it was.
So what are we going to do then against the mage and the changeling?
Excommunicate.
It seems a rather light punishment.
I agree, but so is the will of our tyrant.
It was still his own decision to close this deal, and I think that's in the end what drove him over the edge. He could have reacted differently. It was a kiss, not a rape or anything else like that. He chose to go on this path himself, but still, those two had a responsibility in the matter, and therefore I do not wish to. I would advise everybody to stay away from them as far as possible.
You would think anybody would be knowledgeable about how cautious to make deals. It would be one of ours. It was very foolish of him to have done so.
Vincenzo, what do you think about it?
I'm thinking that if the mages or the Fae want something from us, they are going to pay for it.
See, somebody who talks sense.
I do agree in that.
That's why I shared some of the dust I collected from the leg of the person I shot. And I've shared half of the quantity I have with the person called Jade.
Daniel's
For a
girlfriend.
personal, and when I say personal I mean very personal favor. She doesn't know what I'm going to ask yet, I'm not going to tell.
Very well.
But let's say that that person, if called upon, has a favor left open. So in great emergencies, we could call upon her to make something happen through me.
Interesting. Good to know. Mr. Hoyt, something I might want to inform you about when it comes to the mages. Maybe Yukio, you are interested in this as well. Mages are humans. They are the humans that reach their full potential. They are the humans
Yes.
that we wanted them to become.
Oh, good. The children who learn then.
Not exactly how I'd say it. They are the shadow reflections of the light we hope they become.
Exactly, they suffer from stuff we never suffer from around here.
Well, that's true, but then again, this was their place of origins, while ours is different. They are born from this earth, we aren't. Still, they're not everything we hoped that they would become.
They're arrogant and foolish.
Exactly, but they are what they are, and there's no
So they
denying
are like
it.
us, arrogant and
No,
foolish.
we are not foolish. You might be, but I've run around for a few times to know that I know where my head lies, and I'm sure these elderly gentlemen agree that they are hardly fools.
We fought a war and we lost. We were arrogant and
The
foolish.
humans still have free choice. I don't think we lost.
We fought within a war, suggesting that that war is over might be a little premature.
That's true.
Could be.
We fought, we didn't lose. We simply were victim of circumstance.
We're
This
And
has
now-
changed now.
We're POWs, and now we've been released. That's a sign that the
You've
war
been
might be over.
released. I consider myself escaped and fighting a war that needs to be fought.
I'll have to agree with the good sergeant over there.
I prefer the Earth. A couple of 100 years ago it was nicer, quieter.
Well, anyway, we could stay in reminiscence for hours. I mean, there's a lot we can reminisce about.
Well, reminiscence is what I want to achieve sooner or later. I have talked with the other Halakuk, Daniel, and he has a larger and more vivid memory of what has happened.
I see.
And I am very much looking to increase my memories in order to reach greater potential of what I'm sure that must be inside me. For I remember parts of the things I did, traveling, and premonition was part of my task during the war. A scout, if you will, but a scout knowing where and when to scout. I would like to retrieve some of those skills, and they must be unlocked within my memory. I think reminiscing about what we had and what we have is something we can increase our potential with.
Well, then, please go on, but if you will excuse me, I have a class to follow, so I have to get back.
Yeah, I need to go to. I need to drop this katana blade with my customer.
It is quite beautiful, actually.
Thank you. It took me, and he looks at it, 45 minutes.
I see. I might be placing another order with you then.
No, my forge is open for everyone.
Anyway, Mr. Hoyt, it was a pleasure of meeting you. Rev, Vincenzo, always an honor. Yukio, I guess you'll walk with me.
Yes, my tyrant. And he turns around. Gentlemen, if you ever need to find me, there is a forge down in the Bronx called Rashomon Metalworks. I call it my own.
I'll make certain to make that visit happen. We need to have that discussion.
Very well.
I would like to see what you can do with Betsy over there. And he
Sure.
points at the Barrett.
Bring her. I will take good care of her.
The Reverend lifts her from the wall. He seems to be strong enough to lift a very large and heavy weapon. Quite easily.
Well, talk to you later.
My tyrant. And the Reverend nods.
Have a good night, lass.
And Yukio will leave after